Welcome to Jesus for All. Today we begin our reading from 1 Samuel chapter 5, the Philistines and the Ark. The Philistines and the Ark. In our last reading, we saw the disasters that played out in the house of Eli, the old priest. After so much warnings about his son's recklessness, worthlessness, treating the things of God with contempt, immoralities, disobedience, and our just God does not play with anything that it's made. And we are told in Genesis 1:27 that God made male and female in its image and would not tolerate anyone disrespecting either, because he gave both dominion to multiply, to rule, and to subdue. So when either party is disrespecting or mistreating the other, God frowns on such behavior. It is abominable. And these were the things that Hophni and Phinehas participated in, treating God's offerings with contempt, sleeping around with women at the tent of meeting. Such immoralities was not going to be tolerated. And God warned and warned, but nobody heeded until late, when their father, an old man, the priest Eli, cautioned them. But it was too little too late. The consequences were dire. And that shows us, even today, we who are under grace, that we must not take God for granted. We must not take each other for granted, because even at each other, we are made in God's image. So when a man goes and deceives and misbehaves, cheats, because we are told in the latter part of our reading in chapter 3 and chapter 4, 1 Samuel chapter 4, we are told that Phinehas' wife was pregnant and gave birth, died at childbirth, named the child lchabod, saying the glory had departed from Israel, because the ark of God had been captured, and because of her father-in-law and her husband were dead. And she said the glory had departed from Israel, for the ark of God has been captured. But we are about to read now in chapter 5 that although God was displeased with the Israelites, God was not going to allow the Philistines to mock it, because the ark of God, is the same ark being called the ark of testimony, or the ark of the covenant. The biblical references to these names can be found in Exodus 25, In Exodus 25, verse 10 of the English Standard Version, the subtitle is the Ark of Covenant, the Ark of the Covenant. And in Exodus 25:22, Exodus 25:22, let's quickly read that. Let me open a Bible to Exodus 25, verse 22. It says, Exodus 25, verse 22. There I will meet with you, and from above the mercy seat, from heaven, the two cherubim that are on the ark of the testimony. I will speak with you about all that I will give you in commandment for the people of Israel. This was God itself talking, saying, there I will meet with you, and from above the mercy seat, from between the two cherubim that are on the ark of the testimony. So it's the same ark of God that is being called the Ark of the Covenant and the Ark of the Testimony. So that is a reference to the Ark of the Testimony there. And in verse 10, as we read earlier, the subtitle was the Ark of the Covenant. And here we are reading in 1 Samuel chapter 5, the ark being referred to as the Ark of God in 1 Samuel chapter 5, verse 1. So let's read. It says, 1 Samuel chapter 5, verse 1. When the Philistines captured the Ark of God, they brought it from Ebenezer to Ashdod. And the Philistines took the Ark of God and brought it into the house of Dagon and set it up beside Dagon. And when the people of Ashdod rose early the next day, behold, Dagon had fallen face downward on the ground before the ark of the Lord. So they took Dagon and put him back in his place. But when they rose early on the next morning, behold, Dagon had fallen face downward onto the ground before the ark of the Lord. And the head of Dagon had both his hands were lying cut off on the threshold. Only the trunk of Dagon was left to him. This is why the priest of Dagon and all who enter the house of Dagon do not tread on the threshold of Dagon in Ashdod to this day. God is proving itself as being most powerful, not to be compared with a pagan god with a small letter G-O-D. Verse 6, we continue from verse 6. It says, the hand of the Lord was heavy against the people of Ashdod, and it terrified and afflicted them with tumors, both Ashdod and its territory. And when the men of Ashdod saw how things were, they said, the ark of God of Israel must not remain with us, for his hand is hard against us and against Dagon, our God. So they sent and gathered together all the lords of the Philistines and said, what shall we do with the ark of the God of Israel? They answered, let the ark of the God of Israel be brought around to Gath. So they brought the ark to the Gath, so they brought the ark of the God of Israel there. But after they had brought it around, the hand of the Lord was against the city, causing a very great panic. And he afflicted the men of the city, both young and old, so that tumors broke out on them. So they sent the ark of God to Ekron. But as soon as the ark of God came to Ekron, the people of Ekron cried out, "They have brought around to us the ark of the God of Israel to kill us and our people." They sent therefore and gathered together all the lords of the Philistines and said, "Send away the ark of the God of Israel, and let it return to his own place, that it may not kill us and our people." For there was a deadly panic throughout the whole city. The hand of God was very heavy there. The men who did not die were struck with tumors, and the cry of the city went up to heaven. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Please share this to those who are still living in iniquities. God cannot be mocked. Obedience is better than sacrifice. We meet at the comment section. If anyone knows if the Ark of God or the Ark of the Covenant or the Ark of the Testimony is still being used in the synagogue or amongst the Jewish priests, it will be interesting to know. But I believe the Ark is now a relic. But if you know otherwise, it would be nice to know. We may read it later on. God bless you and keep you.